Hello friends, welcome to this new session on level of service on multi-lane highways. In this session we will discuss first the concept of level of service and then how it is assessed. Level of service is a reflection of driving condition on a road. This is a method to relate quality of traffic service to a given flow rate. Traffic on multi-lane highways is different from that on two-lane roads in the sense that here there is no opposing flow. The flow in two directions is generally divided by a median, and therefore overtaking or passing maneuver are not in the face of the oncoming traffic. Here vehicle needs to find a gap in the adjacent lane and then start overtaking without looking for opposing vehicle. The general characteristics of a multi-lane highway are that number of lanes may be 4, 6 or 8. The multi-lane highway with 4 lanes can sometimes be undivided also, but 6 lane and 8 lanes are necessarily divided highways. The posted speed limits in India varies from 60 km per hour to 90 km per hour, and they are designed to carry a traffic volume up to 100,000 vehicles per day. But usually the traffic on such highways is 15,000 to 40,000 vehicles per day. The significance of level of service is that it is required for regular assessment of traffic situation so that smooth operation can be ensured. For example, the number of lanes to be provided on a highway for a given level of service for a given maximum service flow rate should be the traffic volume which is on the road and divided by what is desired traffic volume at that particular level of service. So the ratio between these two will give you the number of lanes. The capacity and level of service are two parameters that explain the present traffic condition on any highway segment. Say, for example, these are two roads. On the left side, you see it is highly congested road, whereas in comparison to the left side, this highway on the right side is less congested. Now, this less congestion or more congestion is very subjective terms. So, how much it is really congested? How do you quantify this congestion? And the answer to this question is given by the capacity and level of service analysis. Now, what is the level of service? How it is defined? It is defined as a qualitative measure describing operation conditions within a traffic stream and their perception by motorists or passengers. So when you drive on a highway, how do you perceive the quality of traffic flow? That is the level of service. It is the service provided by the traffic facility to its users. And generally, these are the parameters which are included in defining the level of service, because these are the parameters which define the level of satisfaction of the user. Speed, travel time, and freedom to maneuver, they are largely controlled by traffic volume on the road, or you can say density on the road, and also on type of highway whether it is urban highway or interurban highway. Similarly, these traffic interruptions may be access points on a highway, design of merge and diverge areas, traffic volume or traffic density on the road, or maybe any other external or internal factor. Total delay caused by these interruptions will certainly affect the level of satisfaction of the drivers. Now, similarly, this comfort and convenience that depends upon traffic density as well as on road condition. A road with wide shoulder provides openness to the drivers. It gives psychological improvement on the highway. But poor surface condition like potholes or cracks or unevenness index may give very uncomfortable and frustrating ride on a highway even at low traffic volume. And therefore, these parameters are generally included directly or indirectly when we define level of service. The level of service can be represented by one or more than one parameter for a facility, and these parameters are called the measures of effectiveness. For a multi-lane highway, these measures of effectiveness are generally density, vehicle operating speed, and volume capacity ratio. Each facility can be evaluated on the basis of 6 levels of service, where level of service A represents the best operating condition and level of service F represents the worst condition. I will explain briefly the different levels of service on a highway with some photograph so that you have the idea how level of service changes with traffic density. Now, this is a level of service A. When you have free flow conditions, vehicles are completely unimpeded. Drivers are able to choose their speed, desired speed, and even a small incident are absorbed very quickly by the traffic stream. That means the minor incident will not affect the traffic flow. When traffic volume increases slightly on the road, then this is the level of service B. Now here headways are longer, but the traffic volume is more than what you saw at level of service A. The drivers still have full freedom to choose the speed, and general level of physical and psychological comfort provided to the drivers is quite high. Effects of incidents and breakdowns are easily absorbed because traffic volume is not so high as to create fluctuations in the speed, and therefore minor incidents can be absorbed. At level of service C, you see the traffic density has increased further, traffic volume has increased further, but here the drivers are not really so free to have their desired speed as they were on level of service B or A. And because traffic density is high or traffic volume is high, therefore lane changes becomes difficult. Minor incidents can be absorbed but will cause deterioration in the service. With further increase in traffic volume, the speeds begin to decline. And in this level of service, there is no freedom to maneuver. Drivers experience discomfort, physical as well as psychological. The speed fluctuates, the stream cannot absorb any disruptions, and that is the situation where the traffic stream or traffic flow is moving from stable condition to unstable condition. At level of service E, the highway operates at capacity. Now this is the maximum flow any highway can accommodate. So operations are quite volatile in this case because there is no gap available for lane change or overtaking. And this situation cannot dissipate even a minor disruptions, and if there is any incident it can create a breakdown situation or very long queues of the traffic. LOS F generally described by breakdown or force flow condition, and this condition occurs when traffic incidents cause a temporary reduction in capacity or traffic volume on the road is more than the capacity. I told you capacity is what can be accommodated at level of service E. So if demand is more than that volume, then will also result in level of service F. And in extreme condition, here all vehicles will be standing on the road without any movement, bumper to bumper, and that's called the jam density. Now in this session, I will discuss two methods of assessing level of service on multi-lane highways. One is the Highway Capacity Manual of United States of America that we generally call HCM, and the latest edition of this manual came in 2016. And another method is Indian Highway Capacity Manual method, which was published in 2018. The measure of effectiveness which have been considered for assessing level of service are density, free flow speed, and volume capacity ratio. In Highway Capacity Manual 2016 method, the LOS is determined through these 5 steps. The first step is to select the appropriate highway segment. Then on this highway segment, we compute the free flow speed and compute the flow rate. With these two, flow rate and the free flow speed, we compute the density, and from density we find out the level of service. So I will explain each of these steps in detail. The first is how to select an appropriate highway segment. Now this is the method given in Highway Capacity Manual, that highway segment should be selected which is uniform, homogeneous. So what it says that you take this highway segment and it should be minimum 760 meter long and at least 400 meter away from any intersection. Now how do you identify a highway segment? The manual says whenever there is a change in travel lanes, you divide the highway segment. Or whenever there is a change in median treatment, suppose the median has been widened, or there is a highway without median and then highway with median. So at that point also you should segment the highway. Or when there is a change in speed limit, or when there is a grade change, up to 2%, Highway Capacity Manual does not differentiate between a level segment and a grade segment. But if the grade slope is more than 2% and the sustained gradient, then this will make a different segment. Or as I told you, the presence of traffic signal or stop line at another bottleneck, that should be away at least 400 meter away from this kind of bottleneck. And when the number of access points, the merge area or diverge area, are increasing in a mile, that also becomes a different segment. So highway segment should be uniform, it should be homogeneous. That is how it is selected. Then compute free flow speed. Now there are two methods of computing free flow speed. One is that you actually measure in the field, and when you measure in the field, these are the conditions under which this free flow speed should be measured. It is the average of all passenger car speeds taken under these conditions. Low to moderate volume, and what HCM says that speed on a multi-lane highway does not change much up to a level of volume 1400 pc per hour per lane, passenger car per hour per lane, and therefore the free flow speed should be measured at volume less than 1400 passenger car per hour per lane. Lane width should be 3.6 meter. The lateral clearance should be 1.8 meter. No direct access point along the highway. It should be a divided highway, and there should be only passenger cars in the traffic stream. So these are more or less base conditions under which this free flow speed should be determined in the field. If it is not possible to go to the field and determine the speed, then we can estimate this speed using this equation. That is the base free flow speed, which is reduced by certain factors. And certain factors is the lane width. If lane width is not standard, if it is not 12 feet, then adjustment factor for lateral clearance, for type of median, whether it is divided or undivided highway, and this is the adjustment for access point. Now, adjustment for lane width can be read from this table. Similarly, for lateral clearance to be measured on both sides of the moving traffic, on the left side as well as right side. So this is left side clearance and this is right side clearance, and the reduction factor in FFC for different values of total lateral clearance is given in this table for 4-lane highway and for 6-lane highways. So depending upon how much is the total lateral clearance, we reduce the speed, free flow speed, by certain amount according to this table. Then the third parameter is adjustment for median type. As I told you in the beginning, 4-lane highway can be undivided also. So in that case, this reduction in speed will be 1.6 miles per hour. So Fm in that equation will be 1.6. And for access point density, that is the last adjustment factor, the access point density, it is given in this table that if it is 0, there is no access point. It is 0, no change in speed. But if it is 20, then you reduce speed by 5 miles per hour. Because access point density basically indicates the interruption. So more the number of access points, more will be the accident risk, and therefore speed must reduce on the highway. Once you know the free flow speed, then we calculate the average speed. Now average speed here is represented by S, and this S is given by this equation. It is taken equal to FFS if the volume is less than or equal to breakpoint. Now, what is breakpoint? I told you in the beginning that on multi-lane highway, speed does not change up to a traffic volume which is 1400 passenger car per hour per lane. So this is the speed flow diagram, general speed flow diagram on a multi-lane highway. The free flow speed remains up to a traffic volume and then it starts decreasing. Breakpoint is a point where this speed flow curve changes from linear to curvilinear, and it is generally 1400 pc per hour per lane. And therefore, if this actual volume on the road is less than 1400, then the speed will be same as the free flow speed. If it is more than breakpoint volume, then we estimate by this equation. The average speed on the highway is free flow speed minus this factor. Now here C is the capacity and dc is the density at capacity. Now density at capacity is taken 45 pc per kilometer per lane, and BP breakpoint volume, that is 1400, and capacity is taken as here. Capacity estimated by this equation is a minimum of 1900 plus 20 times FFS minus 45 or 2300, whichever is less. So a simple equation. If you know free flow speed, you can find out the capacity by this equation. Okay. So that is how average travel speed on the highway is estimated. The third step is estimation of demand volume. Now demand volume is estimated using this equation. This is the flow rate, and this is the actual volume which is collected on the highway. It is divided by peak hour factor, number of lanes, and adjustment factor for heavy vehicles. Peak hour factor generally 0.75 to 0.95, and number of lanes can be 2, 3, 4, that is in one direction. And adjustment factor for heavy vehicle depends upon the proportion of heavy vehicle in the traffic stream. Now this 2016 edition of Highway Capacity Manual does not consider a separate category for SUV or tractor trailer or buses. It considers only a single category, heavy vehicle. So all vehicles other than car which are larger than car, they are grouped into heavy vehicle category. They are all put in the category of heavy vehicle. And this is the equivalency factor. Equivalency factor for truck, which is 2 for level terrain and 3 for rolling terrain. Now you know the demand volume, you know the speed, then these 2 points are plotted on this family of curves. You can calculate density from traffic volume and speed. You can calculate density and see where does it lie. This is the region for level of service A, this is the region for level of service B, for C, for D, for E, and for F. And I told you that at LOSE, the density is taken as 45 passenger car per mile per lane. If it is 35 to 45, it is level of service E. Similarly, if it is from 11 to 18, it is in the level of service B. So that is how level of service is determined as per Highway Capacity Manual of 2016 method. Now in Indo Highway Capacity Manual, the level of service is based on density as well as V by C ratio. But we need not go for both the parameters. A single parameter is good enough. V by C ratio is correlated with traffic density just for the understanding of the field engineers, because in India for a long time LOS has been determined based on V by C ratio, and therefore for a better transition from V by C ratio to density, this table provides values of V by C ratio also corresponding to each density range. So here the procedure is 6 step. First you divide the road length to segment which will have similar characteristics, and you can take the guidance from Highway Capacity Manual of US to determine the length of segment. Measure the traffic volume for the segment for 1 week. Convert this traffic volume into PCU per hour. Measure space mean speed of the vehicles. Now that's a departure here. It is not free flow speed, but here we estimate space mean speed of all vehicles. And then compute the density and read level of service from this table, depending upon whether it is a 4-lane or 6-lane. Now let us take one example to illustrate the procedure given in 2 manuals. An example is like this, that a 3.5 mile 4-lane divided highway in level terrain has the following data. Now these 2 data which I have shown in black color, they are special data which are required for determining LOS using Indian Highway Capacity Manual method. Space mean speed and the proportion of big cars and buses. You can say that the complete composition of traffic stream. I have taken here only 4 categories: trucks, big cars, bus and cars. But it can have other categories also. So what is the level of service as per US method as well as per Indo-ASEAN method? So let us first determine as per US SCM method. So step 1 is to compute free flow speed, and that is given by this equation. Okay, base free flow speed, that is given here. Base free flow speed is 65 miles per hour. FLW is for lane width. Now here lane width is 11 feet, and therefore this factor is 1.9 miles per hour from that table. FLC is for lateral clearance. Now clearance at roadside is 4 feet, and clearance at median side is also 4 feet. So total clearance becomes 4 plus 4, that is 8, and for 8 feet this FLC is 0.9 miles per hour from that table. Median is a divided highway, and therefore FM is 0, and the access point density here is given as 22 per mile, and therefore this FA, factor for access point density, is 5 miles per hour. So with these parameters you can find out the free flow speed, which will be 65 minus 1.9 minus 0.9 minus 0 minus 5, that is 57.2 miles per hour. This is first step. Now second step is to compute flow rate using this equation. Okay, now here you have to estimate, because what is given in this equation, in this question, is that the traffic flow is 1900 vehicles per hour and truck composition is 12%. So with this traffic flow and with this truck composition, you can find out what is the value of ET. Now I have taken here the heavy vehicle composition as 12% truck, 10% SUV, or you can say big car, and 5% buses, all put together into the category of heavy vehicles. So proportion of heavy vehicle is 0.27, ET is 2 because the highway is located in level terrain, and therefore FHV will be 0.78. Right, number of lanes, it is a 4 lanes, so number of lanes in one direction is 9, and PHF is given as 0.9, and therefore you can calculate value of VP, that is flow rate, which is 1353 vehicles per hour per lane. Now this value is less than breakpoint value, that is 1400, and therefore the speed is taken as the free flow speed, that is 57.2 miles per hour. Now step 3 is to calculate the density. You know the traffic volume, you know the speed, so you can calculate the traffic density, that is coming 23.65, 24 pc per mile per lane. And with this density, if you enter the curve here, now this is the volume 1353 volume. Speed which we got here is 57.2 miles per hour. The highway capacity manual says that while reading the density, while reading the level of service on speed flow curve, you should adjust this speed to match with the curve. So 57.2 can be kept as 55 miles per hour, and therefore this point lies here, and this is corresponding to level of service in the zone of, this is in the zone of level of service C. So this highway enjoys level of service C. This is the procedure of US HCM. Now if you see Indo-SCM method, this is also simple procedure. First step is to convert this traffic volume into PCU. And for that we take PCU for each category of the vehicle. Total flow is 1900 vehicles per hour, and therefore if you take 12% trucks, that becomes 12% of 1900, that is 228, and this is the PCU factor given in the manual, so that comes out to be 1003 PCU. Similarly, you can convert SUV, buses and cars into equivalent number of passenger cars, and that becomes, total of all these is 3150 PCU per hour per direction. Now space mean speed is given in the question, that is 60 km per hour, and therefore density will be this 3150 divided by 60, that is 52.5 passenger car per kilometer per direction. And if you see this table, for 4-lane divided highway, this density of 52.5 lies in this range, and therefore level of service is D. This is the procedure as given in Indian Highway Capacity Manual. So friends, in this session we have covered the basic concept of level of service on multi-lane highway, parameters which define LOS, and the procedure as given in US Highway Capacity Manual as well as in Indo Highway Capacity Manual method. You can write your observations and questions in the comment box, and if you want any particular topic to be discussed here, please do tell me. I'll have a separate session on that topic.